How do you know if an investment is a good investment? You have limited money and or limited time, so you want to make sure you spend it on the things that will produce the most return for your investment. You want to make sure you get the best return for every dollar you invest. It reminds me of the scene in Grandma's Boy where Jeff and Bobby, played by Nick Swardson and Scott Halberstadt, are in a Dance Dance Revolution face-off. Bobby goes on first and he thinks he got this in the bag. But then Jeff gets on and finished with
new high score!
What does high score mean? New high score, is that bad? What does that mean? Did I break it?
If you haven't seen this movie, no lie, it is on my top 10 to 15 favorite movies. Anyways, the same concept holds true in real estate. How do you know if you have a good return compared to other investments? Hint, just like in Grandma's Boy, it involves numbers. Let's calculate our return on investment, or ROI. What's up, everybody? I'm Sean McMurray, co-host of BPM REIA Online, and this is Mr. $250 million in real estate transactions, my mentor, my good friend, president and owner of BPM REIA, Anish Dave.
Hey, what's up? This is Anish Dave, BPM REIA president. Good to see you guys.
Look, y'all, there are several ways to calculate your ROI, but at the end of the day, they all are answering one question. Is this a good investment? You plug a bunch of data points into a formula and it produces a number. If it's positive, you know you're making money, but that doesn't answer if it is a good investment. You still must take that number and compare it to other investments that you have. If it matches or beats your best return, it's a good investment. We are going to go over two methods of calculating ROI in this video. A simple method simply called ROI and a more difficult method called cap rate. But Anish is a beast at simplifying difficult things, so have no fear. The first method, we are simply answering for the ROI. You take the total profit and divide that by the total investment. That includes all expenses. Taxes, cost of money, renovations, all expenses. You then multiply that number by 100, and that gives you your ROI reflected as a percentage. For example, let's say you make $50,000 profit on your investment. All things considered, you invested $100,000 into the property. Divide those numbers, gives you 0.5. Now take that number and multiply it by 100, and you receive a 50% return on investment. Remember, this number is generally expressed on an annualized basis, so let me give you three more examples. Let's say all numbers are the same, but instead that return was over a 2-year period. But you want to know your ROI annualized. Stick with me, folks, this is dumb easy. You take the same 50% ROI and hold your breath, divide it by 2. That easy. So your annualized ROI is 25%, which is an amazing return. If it was a 5-year period, you would divide your ROI by 5 to get your annualized return. All right, second example. All numbers are the same, only this return was achieved in a 6-month period. How do you get annualized numbers? You take the 50% and times it by 2. Your annualized ROI is 100%. No lie, these are achievable numbers. All right, last example. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you watched our video on how to buy a house with no money and no job. I'm just saying, hypothetically, there's totally not a link in the corner right here to that video, IJS, but you watched that video and discovered how to use other people's money, or OPM, on the deal. So you invested $0 while your partner invested the $100,000 in expenses. Remember from our example, we had $100,000 in total expenses. All right, so you partnered on the deal, but you're splitting the profit 50-50. Does this sound familiar? Maybe like a coaching program or mentorship program that BPM offers? So how do you calculate this return for both investors? Let's take the $50,000 and divide it by 2. Remember, we're splitting the profit between you and your partner. Let's run ROI for your partner. $25,000 divided by $100,000 times 100, an ROI of 25%. Again, any partner would love to have a return like that. All right, let's run the ROI for you. Wait a second, $25,000 divided by 0, that's right. You didn't invest any money. You merely invested your time. Any second grader knows you cannot divide by 0. Your return is infinite. So how do you obtain a useful measurement of return? Well, you can divide the $205,000 by the amount of time you spent on the deal. Let's say in total, it took you 10 hours from start to finish to close the deal, which is a realistic number, no lie. You take $25,000 divided by 10 hours and you get $2,500 per hour.
What the f, man?
How many of you great folks out there are making $2,500 per hour? Anyone? All right, folks, that's ROI. Anish, give us a short explanation of why we use cap rate over the basic ROI example I just gave. Follow it with an explanation of how to calculate it and run us through a very simple example.
Thanks, John. So cap rate is the basic of the basic, right? We're gonna assume that you're paying cash for properties. And what you're basically doing is you're taking your rent, which is your total income, and you're gonna minus your expenses, and you're gonna have a net income. And then you're gonna basically divide by your purchase price. So it's gonna give you an idea, again, of how much money you're making yearly. So a good example, you find this great rental. You're getting, let's say, $2,000 a month. So $2,000, we're gonna assume it's rented for 12 months, $24,000. And then, of course, we're gonna have some expenses. What are some of those expenses? Yep, the government, the county needs what? Their taxes, absolutely. What about insurance? What about maintenance, right? If you're actually also gonna pay for the electricity or water, you have to include those expenses. So again, $24,000 worth of income, $2,000 for taxes, $1,000 for insurance, $500 for maintenance, and let's just say another $500 of miscellaneous. Now we're at $4,000 in expenses. So you take the $24,000 minus the $4,000 leaves you $20,000. And now you're buying the property for $200,000. And that's including your closing costs and other expenses to acquire the property. Now you take that number and you divide it by the 200 divided by the 20, that gives you 10%. So now your cap rate is 10%. And what you're really, again, we're assuming that you're not using any kind of financing, you're using your own cash or someone else's cash.
Who's going to be the successful real estate investor calculating ROI and cap rate? That's right, you are. As the great cartoon G.I. Joe says,
and knowing is half the battle.
Get out there and put this knowledge to work. Let's make these deals happen. If you like this video, slap that subscribe button. It helps the algorithm get this video out to more amazing folks such as yourself. Don't forget to like and let us know of what you thought about the explanation in the comments. If you have just a few more seconds, stay locked in until the end of the video for a little jingle we put together. Anish, final words.
Yeah, so when you're looking at properties, you might not love numbers, but you're gonna learn to love numbers because it's money in your pocket. You just wanna learn these basic formulas so you can look at properties very quick.
I'm Sean McMurray.
I'm Anish Dave.
And we are BPM REIA. Here's the latest jingle. You can check out the last one in the 8 worst types of real estate to invest in. All right, check it. You have a few opportunities you'd really like to try. You're confused on what to choose, so run the ROI. First, you take the profit and divide it by expenses. Take that number times 100 to provide the percentage. Now you rockin'. Things are much more real. Go and use OPM to go and fund that deal. And if they want another method, it's not too late. Anish Davi taught you how to use cap rate. All right, y'all, subscribe to the channel and we're out.